On their first date, a man asked his companion if she'd like a drink with dinner. "Oh no. What would I tell my Sunday school class?" she said. Later, he offered her a cigarette. "Oh no, what would I tell my Sunday school class?" she said again. On the drive home, he saw a motel. Figuring he had nothing to lose, he asked if she wanted to stop in there. "Okay," his date replied. Shocked, he asked, "But what will you tell your Sunday school class?" "The same thing I always tell them," she replied. "You don't have to drink or smoke to have a good time." A redneck goes to the doctor, who after examining him says, "You have some problems with your heart, but if you take these tablets, I think you will be okay." So the doctor gives the man the tablets, and the patient asks, "Do I have to take them every day?" "No," replies the doctor. "Take one on Monday, skip Tuesday, take one on Wednesday, skip Thursday, and go on like that." 2 weeks later, the doctor is walking down the street, and he sees the redneck's wife. "Hello, Mrs. Jones," he says. "How's your husband?" "Oh, he died of a heart attack," says Mrs. Jones. "I'm very sorry to hear that," says the doctor. "I thought if he took those tablets, he would be all right." "Oh, the tablets were fine," says Mrs. Jones. "It was all the dang skipping that killed him." The pastor asked if anyone in the congregation would like to express praise for an answered prayer. Mary stood and walked to the podium. She said, "I have some praise. 2 months ago, my husband, Frank, had a terrible bicycle accident and his scrotum was completely crushed. The pain was excruciating and the doctors didn't know if they could help him. You could hear a rustling sound as the men in the congregation crossed their legs, imagining the pain that poor Frank must have experienced. Frank was unable to hold me or the children," she went on, "and every move caused him terrible pain. We prayed as the doctors performed a delicate operation, and it turned out they were able to piece together the crushed remnants of Frank's scrotum and wrap wire around it to hold it in place with metal staples." Again, the men in the congregation cringed and squirmed uncomfortably as they imagined the horrible surgery performed on Frank. "Now," she announced in a quivering voice, "thank the Lord, Frank is out of the hospital, and the doctors say that with time, his scrotum should recover completely." All the men sighed with unified relief. The pastor rose and tentatively asked if anyone else had something to say. A man stood up and walked slowly to the podium. He said, "I'm Frank." The entire congregation held its breath. "I just want to tell my wife that the word is sternum." One night after a date, a guy takes his 19-year-old girlfriend home. After kissing each other goodnight at the front door, the guy starts feeling a little horny. With an air of confidence, he leans with his hand against the wall and, smiling, he says to her, "Babe, do you want to, get it on?" Horrified, she replies, "Are you crazy? My parents will hear us." He replies, "Oh, come on. Who's going to hear us at this hour?" She says, "But can you imagine if we get caught?" "Oh, come on," he pleads. "They won't know. They're all sleeping." "No way. It's just too risky," she says. He begs, "Oh, please, please, I love you so much." No, and no," she insists. "I love you too, but I just can't." "Oh, yes, you can. Please." No, I just can't. "I'm begging you." Suddenly, the hallway light turns on, and the girl's sister shows up in her pajamas, hair disheveled, and in a sleepy voice she says, "Dad says that you should go ahead and do it, or Mom can do it. Or if need be, Dad says he can come down himself and do it. But for heaven's sake, tell him to take his hand off the intercom." I was in a public toilet and had just sat down when I heard a voice from the next cubicle. "Hi, how are you?" Now, I'm not the type to start a conversation in the restroom. I don't know what got into me, but I answered, somewhat embarrassed, "Doing just fine." And the other person says, "So what are you up to?" What kind of question is that? At this point, I'm thinking this is too bizarre. So I say, I'm like you, just sitting here. So now I am just trying to get out as fast as I can, when I hear another question. "I'm dying to see you. Can I come over? We can just sit around and chill." Okay, this question is just way too weird and creepy for me. I figured I could politely end the conversation and take the bolt. I say, "No, I'm a little busy right now." Then I hear the person say, "Listen, I'll have to call you back. There's an idiot in the other stall who keeps answering all my questions." A Marine was deployed to the Middle East. While he was there, he received a letter from his girlfriend. "Dear Ken, I can no longer continue our relationship. The distance between us is too great. I must confess that I have cheated on you twice, and this situation is not fair for either of us. I'm really sorry. Love, Penny. Please return the picture you have of me." The Marine was clearly hurt by his ex's letter, so he came up with a plan to exact a bit of revenge. He asked his fellow Marines for any snapshots they had of mothers, sisters, girlfriends, cousins, ex-girlfriends, or aunts. After a while, he had obtained a sizable collection. He stuffed all the various photos into an envelope, including the picture of Penny, along with this letter. "Penny, I can't quite remember which one you are. Please take your picture from the pile and return the rest. Take care, Ken." 3 men are shipwrecked on a deserted island. Or so they think. It's not really deserted. They met a troop of cannibals. The cannibals surrounded them and said, "Go get 10 of any kind of fruit, or we'll tear you to pieces, and if you don't, we'll tear you to shreds." So the first man comes back with 10 apples, and the tribe says, "Stuff them up your ass. If you make one noise, we'll put you in the eating cage." So the man gets 2 up his ass, then whimpers, and gets thrown in the cage. The second man comes with 10 cherries, and the tribe tells him the same thing. He manages to get 8 up his ass, and then bursts out laughing. The first man asks the second, "And why are you laughing?" And the second man says, "I saw the third man coming with pineapples." My friends, if you want to watch other funny jokes, subscribe to the channel.